The world is full of sorrow and it is traveling in pain. Why is it so? It is because we don't have the families which are well ordered. Welcome to One Truth and thank you for joining me today. And here we will keep you motivated and encouraged. If you are joining us for the first time, I really appreciate that you've joined us, and I would love to request that you subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and shout out with a comment on what are your thoughts as we will be discussing such a very crucial and interesting, wonderful subject that is carrying a lot of weight, looking at a far-reaching influence of the home. So it is important that we should have homes that have got so much influence. And as we are looking at this, we are going through such a very wonderful and interesting book, looking at the book Adventist Home. So the Christian home is an object lesson. The mission of the home extends beyond its own members. The Christian home is to be an object lesson illustrating the excellence of the true principles of life. Such an illustration will be a power for good in the world. As the youth go out from such a home, the lessons they have learned and are imparted. Nobler principles of life are introduced into other households, and an uplifting influence works in the community. It is so said that some other parents, they neglect taking care of their responsibilities, and as a result, the children, they grow up so wild, and there is no one to come and give guidance and correction to the children. I've often realized and seen other families. They will visit you with their children, which is so nice to have visitors at home. But it is so disappointing. You find that the child is so naughty, is jumping on the couch, is doing a lot of things, is swearing there, the mother is there. And also bear in mind, these people are your visitors. And as they are your visitors, the child is doing like that. But then the mother, like, no, she's a child. She starts blushing the child. I've often seen that. And it becomes very hard, you as a host, to say anything, because you'll be anticipating that the mother will take action and rebuke the child, but the mother doesn't do so. And as a result, the child grows with that kind of an influence. And at the end of the day, the child becomes so wild in a way that it becomes so hard to nature and put that child in the way. The home in which the members are polite, cautious Christians exert a fear-reaching influence for good. Other families will mark the results attained by such a home and will follow the example set, in their turn guarding the home against satanic influences. The angels of God will often visit the home in which the will of God bears sway. Under the power of divine grace, such a home becomes a place of refreshing to home. Weary pilgrims, by watchful guarding, self is kept from asserting itself. Correct habits are formed. There is a careful recognition of the rights of others. The faith that works by love and purifies the soul stands at the helm, presiding over the whole household. Under the hallowed influence of such a home, the principles of brotherhood laid down in the way of God is more widely recognized and obeyed. It is very important that the parents should take responsibility of their own children, and they are to put them in a line that even when they die today, the relatives will be able to take them in and accept them in their family. I was having a conversation with one lady, and she is having some challenges in her life. And then now, one of the sisters says to her, I am willing to help you in this aspect, that I can take this child and she comes and lives by me. But the problem about this child, he has got so much attitude. I can't stomach it in. I can't take this child in. I wish I can help you, but your child's attitude. if he doesn't change. So now we look at that someone is in a corner. He's facing such a very hard time in his life. But then now, because of the child, the family, the relatives are not willing to come and help because of the child that has not been nurtured well. So the kind of a behavior will make other people to even lose heaven, because God will not have unrighteous people enter heaven. We look at that, the heaven is only for the righteous, but the ones who are unrighteous, heaven will be like a torture to them, because it's not a place for those. So as we look at this, it is very important that the children, they are to be nurtured in a way that even if a parent dies, then the family, the relatives, they will be willing to come and assist. Influence of a well-ordered family. It is no small matter for a family to stand as representatives of Jesus, keeping God's law in an unbelieving community. We are required to be living epistles known and read of all men. This position involves fearful responsibilities. If you can evaluate, you look at that, wherever you go, each and everyone is looking at you. You might not know, but you are like an epistle. An epistle, we are looking at a letter that is a read of the world. And as the world is reading you, what kind of influence are you showing? What kind of image are you showing out there? Because the people, they are always looking at you. It doesn't matter of what you say, but it matters of what you do. So one well-ordered, well-disciplined family tells more in behalf of Christianity than all the sermons that can be preached. There are some people that preach wonderful and interesting sermons, but you wonder, why is it that these sermons, they don't have got an impact on the people? It is so sad. Why? It is because what that person says is not what that person lives. Not that we have to neglect the message that has been presented, but if your influence, if your character, if the things that you do, they tend to be contrary to what you say, the message will carry no weight. And as a result, you are killing the gospel. Such a family gives evidence that the parents have been successful in following God's directions and that their children will save him in the church. Their influence grows, for as they impart, they receive to impart again. The father and mother find helpers in their children who give to others the instruction received in the home. The neighborhood in which they live is helped, for in it they have become enriched for time and for eternity. The whole family is engaged in the service of the Master, and by their godly example, others are inspired to be faithful and true to God in dealing with his flock, his beautiful flock. The greatest evidence of the power of Christianity that can be presented to the world is a well-ordered, well-disciplined family. This will recommend the truth as nothing else can, for it is a living witness of its practical power upon the heart. The best test of Christianity is a home is the type of character begotten by its influence. Actions speak louder than the most positive profession of godliness. Our business in this world is to see what virtues we can teach our children and our families to possess, that they shall have an influence upon other families, and thus we can be an educating power, although we never enter into the desk. A well-ordered, a well-disciplined family in the sight of God is more precious than fine gold, even than the golden wedge of Ophir. So it is important that we should have well-disciplined and well-ordered families, so that other families, as they are looking, they might be inspired. It is so wonderful to see other people getting inspired and also accepting the message because of the influence that they are seeing in the family. So at times, we tend to kill the gospel in the way how we behave in society. Because out there, the people they are forever looking. Wherever you are, not only when you go to the church, that's when you behave like a Christian. You are to be a Christian always. Even if someone has to meet you in another country, you have to always show Christ in each and everything that you do. And in that way, the gospel will carry more weight. Wonderful possibilities are ours. Our time here is short. We can pass through this world but once as we pass along. Let us make the most of life. The work to which we are called does not require wealth or social position or great ability. It requires a kindly, self-sacrificing spirit and a steadfast purpose. A lamp, however small, if kept steadily burning, may be the means of lighting many other lamps. Our sphere, as we continue further looking at this wonderful book, it says that our sphere of influence may seem narrow, our ability small, our opportunities few, our acquirements limited, yet wonderful possibilities as ours through a faithful use of the opportunities of our own homes. If we will open our hearts and homes to the divine principles of life, we shall become channels for currents of life-giving power. From our homes will flow streams of healing, bringing life and beauty and fruitfulness where now are barrenness and death. God-fearing parents will diffuse an influence from their own home circle to that of others that will act as did the leaven that was hid in 3 measures of meal. Faithful work done in the home educates others to do the same class of work. The spirit of fidelity to God is like leaven and well manifested in the church will have an effect upon others and will be a recommendation of Christianity everywhere. The work of whole souled soldiers of Christ is as far reaching as eternity. Then why is it that there is such a lack of the missionary spirit in our churches? It is because there is a neglect of home piety. When we look at the Garden of Eden as it was made and given to Adam and Eve, that was a church already. And also look at that Adam as the priest and looking at his family. He had to guard jealously his family. We look at the people like Abraham. They also had so much influence in the family, and also they had to groom their children in a very well-ordered way. It is very important that as we are training, we should not neglect our families. Most of the times, they tend to look at the children out there, but then they forget their own children. And as a result, they become so wild in a way that they can't even tame them. When we look at Priest Eli, as he was forever looking at Samuel as he was given in the temple by his mother, as he was there in the temple, he made sure that he trained him very well, but also in that time, he forgot about his own children, and as a result, they perished. So as a parent, you have to make sure that you take responsibilities to make sure that you always put your children in order so that even when you are not there, other people might not find it a burden to look after your children. Influence of an ill-regulated family. The influence of an ill-regulated family is widespread and it is disastrous to all society. It accumulates in a tide of evil that affects families, communities, and governments. It is impossible for any of us to live in such a way that we shall not cast an influence in the world. No member of the family can enclose himself within himself, where other members of the family shall not feel his influence and spirit. The very expression of the countenance has an influence for good or evil. His spirit, his words, his actions, his attitude toward others are unmistakable. If he is living in selfishness, he surrounds his soul with a malarious atmosphere. While if he is filled with the love of Christ, he will manifest courteous, kindness, tender regard for the feelings of others, and will communicate to his associate by his acts of love a tender, grateful, happy feeling. It will be made manifest that he is living for Jesus and daily learning lessons at his feet, receiving his light and his peace. He will be able to say to the Lord, "Thy gentleness hath made me great." It is so important that we look at our families and also we make sure that we have got so much influence that will bring in people to Christ. Not that when people see you, they will even not want to hear about the message that you are carrying. So, in that way, you are killing the gospel. So, let's not kill the gospel, but to make sure that we take a closer look in our families. Let's not be the people who are judgmental, who are forever looking at other families out there and we forget our own families. It is very important that we always bring in Jesus Christ in our families, and in that way, he will be the leader in our families. And he is the leader in our families. We are following Jesus, and as other people will be inspired. That's the way that we will preach to the world. Jesus Christ gave a commission, said that go ye to the world, preach to all nations. And also says that to them who believe are baptized. And goes on to further say that teach them to observe everything that I have taught you. So as we go to preach, some they can't go and preach door to door, but they preach through the influence in their family. And as a result, other people, as they see that, they will be inspired and they will be converted and give their lives to Christ. So, with this, may the Lord bless us and give us safely as we are in this world. We are to be a powerful Christian witness. So this is what we are going to be covering on our next study, as we'll be continuing tomorrow at the time 10 o'clock. Make sure that you come and tune in at the time 10 o'clock. And I will also appreciate if you can share with me your thoughts on the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe so that you won't miss out of any of the wonderful presentations that I've already uploaded and of others that we're going to have further. And I also have got one presentation which talks about the Christian couple. We've got many more, but on this one, it is important that we go and watch it. I'll leave the link down below on the description. May you all have a wonderful and prosperous day. God bless.